today's episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, Rich DePinto muscles his way onto the show to chat about what he's been playing recently before diving into our main topic, our favorite fighting games. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode 415. Anthony here.
And Rich, I'm back.
Rich is back to cause more trouble.
Oh, come on. Give me some credit.
That was giving you credit.
That's true. Yeah, I do like causing trouble.
I actually have faith that you can cause trouble.
Nobody does it better than Jack, though.
No. Jack does it the best, and Jack has not been on the show yet this year. Jack's long overdue.
Mm-hmm.
So
in other words, kidnap him, bring him up here.
Yes, and force him to be on the show. But everybody out there, welcome back to the show. We have an interesting topic today. Before we get to it, the new thing that we're trying to do with everybody, and I will say, Rich was just here not too long ago. We went through the LJN game catalog. Do you remember the LJN game catalog?
You really had to bring that back up again, didn't you?
Yes. And do you remember how I tortured you by making you play through some of the LJN games and then I forgot to record them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
All good times. But
I still have nightmares of that, by the way.
You should. If it makes you feel any better, I played through some of them and then posted gameplay for it. So
Wolverine, I think, was the worst for me.
Oh, Wolverine was so bad.
That was terrible.
It was really, really bad. There were some other ones that you didn't play that were even worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that was even though we went through that and it was a pain, it was a fun episode. So I think we're gonna have a good time with this one. Before we start talking about our topic, what have you been playing recently, retro or otherwise?
I've really been on a lot of retro gaming kick. I don't know, nothing new has been sitting with me, but one of the ones that I picked up not too long ago was the Marvel Capcom collection.
Ooh, okay.
The one with the Marvel vs. Capcom. It's got X-Men, X-Men Street Fighter, Marvel Street Fighter. What else was there? Marvel Superheroes.
Nice.
And I got to tell you, that is a great little collection of games.
Yeah, and that's like the definitive collection of like that Marvel Capcom kind of series, which was amazing. Absolutely amazing series of games.
Oh my god. It's sad because I mean, I know it's not really retro, but like I've tried doing Marvel Capcom 3. I think I played Marvel Capcom Infinite for a hot minute.
Okay.
And they don't have that same je ne sais quoi, I guess.
They don't have the spark that the other ones had.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Is it
there.
an age thing? Are you too old now?
Probably.
Yeah, that might be it. I think we look back, obviously part of retro gaming is we look back on what we played when we were younger fondly, or more fondly than newer games. So, or at least that's my experience with it. Because I also am having trouble getting into current gaming.
Yeah.
I've been flocking more and more towards my retro gaming, and if you subscribe to the YouTube page, you'll see like I'm putting up more and more stuff because that's what I've been focusing on now. I just am really retro gaming now,
right? Like
fully retro gaming, which is perfect for the show. So,
well, going back to your point of you pop on this game and you have memory. You remember the name of the arcade that was on what's it called? That was not far from us.
Funtime?
Yeah.
Funtime USA.
So I remember going to Funtime
USA.
Funtime USA.
My sister worked there.
Really?
Yes.
Oh God.
She did for like a year.
So that place was my first time that I remember being able to play Marvel Superheroes. And I used to go there and just play Marvel Superheroes all the time. And my main was always Spider-Man.
Of course.
So I remember there was one time I went and I just put the quarters in or tokens, whatever it was, and I started playing. And some snotty little kid comes up to me and he's like, "I'm going to kick your butt." And I'm like,
okay,
bring it. So he pops his quarters in and I wiped the floor with him.
I was going to say, I hope you made him cry.
And then it was funny because then I had a string of like 8 more people come in and challenge me. And I just beat every single one of them. And I was like, nice. I remember at the time going like, I'm not this good.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? And some of them, like, it wasn't like little kids. I'm talking about like kids that were probably close to me in age.
Yeah.
And I remember then that snot-nosed kid came back and he was like, "That's it. I'm going to get you this time." And I'm like, go ahead. So he puts his quarters in and again, I beat him again.
Nice.
And he walked off all huffing and puffing. And at that point, I think I've really gone through like 9 people, 10 people, I think, or something like that. And I remember there was this little kid watching me the entire time. And then I just turned to him. I'm like, "Do you want to play?" And he was like, "Really?" And it's like, I just basically beat the game. So
Yeah. So you passed it off.
yeah, I passed it off to him.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a cool memory. And yeah, I there were many a day I spent at Fun Time, and I loved going there, and I loved all the games that they had. It was a huge arcade too. It was like 3 floors.
3 floors.
Yeah, it was like an arcade, like entertainment kind of complex. Like it had some other thing. Like it had like a ball pit kind of.
Bumper cars.
There were, I think there were bumper cars. There was a big slide from the second floor to the first floor, or the third floor to the first floor that you can go down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of like a mix.
Wasn't there laser tag there too?
There might have been laser tag. I don't remember exactly.
I feel like there was.
I feel like Bowlingo was there too. Do you remember Bowlingo?
Yes.
That smaller
yes.
version of bowling.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, had a lot of there was a lot of stuff there. We definitely have a lot of memories there. And bringing up Marvel Capcom is perfect because the topic for today's episode is going to be fighting games, and specifically fighting games that we've both had personal experiences with, because the fighting genre is absolutely huge. We couldn't do it justice to kind of do like a blanket discussion over it, but I think just talking about our own memories playing with these fighting games when we were younger, even when we were older, because there are a couple of fighting games I still go back to here and there, or I'll still like give it a try out, although that genre has kind of fallen into the past for me. It's not a genre I visit that often.
I still go back to it.
Okay.
I still love to pop it in and just, once again, with the Marvel Capcom the collection, there are some just absolute gems in there. And kind of talking the old X-Men Street Fighter on the PS1.
Yep.
I remember buying it and I was so excited because it had the tag team option in it.
Yep.
And then I bought the PS1 home and it had no tag team in it. It was an assist character. I was like, what is this garbage?
Could not handle a tag team mode.
Nope.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, this is nope. And it just sat there. And this collection has the original like arcade versions
with
of
tag
the
team
games.
option.
And what's cool is it also has like there's a couple other really cool features in it. You can have all the unlocked characters. So like you could play as Apocalypse in the one game. And then there was like a bunch of other like really odd or like Akuma is constantly making appearances, but he was again a hidden character.
Right.
And you can have access to all of those characters right from the get-go.
Nice.
And then going back to Akuma, one of the other cool things is in the options, you can map certain moves to the controller. So like even though on the later versions of any of the Street Fighters, I can pull out a Raging Demon like that.
Right.
No matter what, I can't do it.
That's a move, by the way.
Yes. Akuma's move, where he basically goes all shadowy, goes towards the character, grabs them, the screen turns black, and then there's like they see this quick like, and on the earlier versions, it would wipe off like half of your energy. But it was super, super hard to pull off. And even though I can do it in the more modern versions, I still can't do it in the old versions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But now they got the little button. You just
press it and it does it.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, see, and I like that too, because like one of the hurdles when you're playing a fighting game is learning the actual combination to do certain moves. And every character obviously has different moves. So figuring that out was always very challenging, which is why, like, especially when we were younger, it's like you found that character that you connected with in terms of like, I memorized all of these guys' moves, and then like that would be like your default guy when you went to it.
Yep.
And I have like some of the games we'll talk about. I'll get into like I'll talk about who my default player is, and I urge you to do the same.
Spider-Man.
Always going to be Spider-Man.
Always Spider-Man.
But for other games,
Yep.
for other games. But before we get to that, like
Spider-Man's not in other games.
No, he's not.
Spider-Man's in all of them.
No, he's
You
not
gotta
in all the
find
games. No, you can't find them in all of them. But I wanted to go back and talk about like just a little bit on the earlier days of fighting games, because like immediately, like when you think of fighting games, Street Fighter 2 seems to be the one that always comes up as like the first fighting game. Even though there was a Street Fighter 1, it wasn't very well known. Like there wasn't a huge number of arcades in the US with Street Fighter 1. Like, to be honest with you, I never came across Street Fighter 1.
I was going to say, I think my first memory of seeing an actual Street Fighter arcade, I think it was probably, I must have been well into my 30s the first time I actually saw a Street Fighter
You never
arcade.
played Street Fighter 2 in the arcade when you
No,
were
not
younger?
Street Fighter 2, the original.
Oh, the original one, just the
original
first.
Street Fighter
Okay.
one.
Yeah. And same with me. Like this, we're talking like, yeah, years and years and years later, finally got to see one of them. And I was like, oh, there it is. That's really cool. I was like, but Street Fighter 2 was always the first one that people think of when you think of a fighting genre. Or
Oh, and by the way, and then played it. I think we were at that arcade out in Long Island.
Game On?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember playing it there, and I was like, wow, this is terrible.
It was not a good game.
Oh.
It was well, you also have to remember, we're playing it now, and in comparison to all the other Street Fighters we've played, it pales in comparison.
Yep.
But back in the day, because that one came out in like 1987,
Yeah.
you know, it was new ground. You know,
Yep.
they were breaking new ground with that. You know, obviously the follow up was where, like, I don't want to say they perfected it, but obviously they made it incredibly better.
Oh
Added
my
more
God.
characters, did all of these things. But before we even got to that, I was thinking more like with home console stuff. Like, what were the type of fighting games that existed on a home console in the 80s? Because there weren't really that many. Like on the Nintendo or the Sega. And games that I think would fall into that category were...
I wouldn't count Kung Fu, because that was, you're just kind of going
No,
left and right.
Kung Fu was a side scroller.
Yeah.
No, but more along the lines of like a Karate Champ
Okay.
or Karateka, if you played Karateka. Karateka was a very, very it was a fighting game where you had, I want to say you had 3 players, not even 2. There were 3 characters on the screen. I could be wrong. But the controls were very cumbersome. The moves were really hard to pull. Like simple moves like a kick, depending on how you did it, like it was really weird, and your character could turn the wrong way. It was a bit cumbersome. But like those to me are like those early fighting games where it was like a one-on-one type of scenario. Urban Champion on the NES was another one of those.
I remember looking at the box art. I never played the game.
It really was just, you know, it was like a...
That was the one where the guy was punching and there was like a sewer grate or open sewer cover, and it's like,
yeah, and the moves were literally just you had punches. You had a weak punch, you had a strong punch. You had to win 3 out of 5 rounds in order to win the match. Like those, that, you know, again, kind of like dipping the toe into this type of genre. Nothing to really write home about. Street Fighter really put it on the map. Yeah, they revolutionized it. Or really, I want to say they invented it, because their style was completely different from those types of games. Of course, like history would say, oh, there were earlier fighting games than that. But to me, Street Fighter 2 would be the real one that put fighting genre.
Street Fighter 2 came out when we were in what, late 7th grade, maybe early 8th grade?
Yeah, it's 91.
Yeah, 91. So yeah, roughly around that time. And I just remember going to the deli down the block from me, and they got it. And I just remember being like, what is this? And just play, like I would just, the amount of money I must have spent on that game. Who was your main in Street Fighter? The original Street Fighter.
Well, Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, Street Fighter 2. I was like, Street Fighter 1, they were... Oh, Ken and Ryu. We're not talking about that one. Street Fighter 2. No, Street Fighter 2... It was always Chun-Li. And the reason why it was always Chun-Li was because I remembered her moves the best. Because her kick, like that kick,
lightning kick?
The lightning kick, all you had to do was keep pressing the button and you would get it. So I was like, okay, if I couldn't figure out anything else with her, if all else fails, I can just do that.
And I just kept jumping. She was my first.
And she was fast.
Yep, so you just kept jumping all over the place, and then you just, boom. Yeah, she was my first. And then, sweet memories now.
Yeah, that's a different podcast.
Oh, sorry. But no, then from there, I went to Ken. And Ken really became my main from that point on.
Okay.
Because I remember I didn't have the, like, because that was like, what do you mean I got to do this? Down to down.
Oh, that half circle.
Forward, and then hit the button. I remember I couldn't get the fireball or even oh my God, what's this
A new,
uppercut?
oh,
Yeah.
the uppercut was down to up. You had to go like a full half
Well,
circle.
no,
I
what was
think.
it? It was forward and then
Was
down
it?
to up.
Yeah, it was some weird.
Yeah, and
crazy.
I was like, what the heck is this? Like, this is just little tough, man. And after playing so long, you eventually got good at it. And
Yes.
then it was like, all right, now let me try out some other characters. And I remember trying like Blanca, and I was like, no, this isn't right.
Blanca was always my other go-to because I loved electrocuting people.
Mm-hmm. That
It was
fun.
that, yes. It was that, and also like didn't he turn into like a ball and like go
Mhm.
across the screen?
Yep.
Yeah, so like those moves I understood, so or I figured out, so I liked playing as him as well.
I liked Dalsum, but he was so slow.
He was too slow. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I lost every time I played as him.
And then they came out with the what was it, Hyper Fighting was the second one?
No, Championship Edition. wasn't it?
Championship, and that's where you got the 4 bosses where you could play as them.
Yes, Vega, Balrog, who are the
And
others?
Bison and
Sagat.
Sagat.
Yeah, not Bob Saget.
No, not Bob Saget.
I remember when that first came out too, because Full House was still a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Why is Bob Saget in this game?"
No, yeah.
But
He's a meanie too.
yeah,
Oof.
but yeah, Championship Edition unlocked those, and when they unlocked those, I loved playing as Vega because Vega was so fast.
Yeah.
I always leaned towards the speedier
Mhm.
characters.
I remember I started with Vega, and then I went to M Bison because I loved the flame,
Yes,
move where you went across the screen. I forget the name of that move.
I don't know the move names. I never knew the move names.
Back in
No
then,
love,
I probably-
no love for E Honda.
Oh God, no.
Well, he did that, and he also like shot himself
Yep.
across the screen too. So, but Street Fighter is definitely. You had mentioned where you played it. I played it at the video store
Mhm.
around the corner from me, Avenue R Video.
Yep.
They had Street Fighter 2. They would always carry just 2 arcade cabinets. They had 2 in the pizzeria on the corner, Pronto Pizza.
Mhm.
They had 2 cabinets for a while, but then they stopped.
Mm.
And I think just the video store had them. And they had Street Fighter 2. I forget what the other cabinet was, but it was always about Street Fighter 2. I think it was it might have been a Neo Geo cabinet if they were available that early.
Mm-hmm.
But it was always about Street Fighter 2 there.
Yeah.
So,
And I just remember, God, like people, like you would go to the arcade and you thought you were so good, and then you would go to like another arcade, and some kid would come in and he would just wipe
Yep.
the floor with you, and you'd be like, I'm re-second guessing my entire life to this point.
yes, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
The Retro Gamers Podcast is brought to you by Old School Gamer Magazine. Sign up for as little as $20 per year for 6 issues that include feature articles, interviews with retro programmers, new and old product reviews, and more. If you look carefully, you'll even see an article or 2 penned by yours truly. You can head over to oldschoolgamermagazine.com/retrogamerspodcast and sign up so they know where you heard about it. Old School Gamer is dedicated to you, the old school retro gamers, from the arcades to your home. Yeah, and then from Street Fighter, right, just to move on from there, the obvious one to talk about next, which came about a year later to at least to home console, and to arcade, was
And to arcade, yeah.
yeah, and to
Because
arcade.
original MK was 92.
Yeah, 92, and then it came to console 93, which obviously we're talking about Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat is famous for so many different things. Obviously introducing a new level of violence into the fighting genre.
Mm-hmm.
Blood, gore,
Oh God.
fatalities.
Being a 13-year-old, 13-year-old
We were
when that
in the
came in.
we were in the perfect age group for this.
Yeah.
Like I don't think and I don't want to say it to be to not in a smug way, but like kids today I don't think would understand when these things didn't exist and we were first exposed to something like a Mortal Kombat and how amazing it was to us.
I will never forget the first time I saw a Sub-Zero just go and then rip the head off. I was like,
Yep.
what is this?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Was it him or was it Scorpion that like pulled the head off with your spine?
Sub-Zero.
That was Sub-Zero, right? When he pulled the head off,
Yep.
your spine was still attached. It was,
Yep.
Yeah, it was just unbelievable.
And
what they
Kano
was-
did the heart rip, and then the heart. I remember, like, especially because they had a pretty good sound system on a
They
lot of the
did.
machines. I remember, like, the dum dum dum
Yep.
dum dum dum. I was like, oh, this is
Yep.
great.
Yep. Again, just everything about that game was, and another step up from, or maybe not a step up, but another difference between Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat was they did full motion video capture.
Mm-hmm.
They had actual actors doing the moves and all of the motions and things like that, captured that, and then those were your characters in the game. So they looked like real people because they were real people.
Or what about remember how we had to find out
Except
about
Goro. Goro was not a real person.
No. We had to find out how to do the fatalities by talking to other kids.
Yes.
That was the only way you knew what the inputs were.
Yeah, because the inputs were so involved. It wasn't just like a 3-button thing. It was like you had to put all of these different combinations in to get the fatalities. And to this day, I can say I've never done a fatality in Mortal Kombat in an arcade.
Really?
No, never did it.
Scorpions I was always able to do because that was easy. It was just block up.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I did Sub-Zeros in the arcade. But I think outside of that, everybody else I only ever saw people do.
Yeah, I was never able to do any of them.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now, were you more of a Mortal Kombat guy or were you a Street Fighter guy?
No, I was a Mortal Kombat guy.
See, and I was a Street Fighter guy.
Well, I was also a horror kid. I grew up watching horror movies. So when
but so was I. But you were more of the horror than I was.
I was more into the horror than you were, and Mortal Kombat. When that came out, I was like, oh, it was like that was made for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is just it was absolutely amazing. Obviously, one of the games that was responsible for the ratings board.
Yep.
That wound up happening. So anybody under like 25 today. Who's watching the show? The reason why your games are rated, are because of Mortal Kombat and a few other games, of course. Night Trap, one of them.
No, I always felt like, to me, Mortal Kombat always felt clunky to Street Fighter. Street Fighter, there was like this fluidness.
Yeah.
It was almost felt like a dance when the characters would be fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
And Mortal Kombat, I always felt like it was like you land a hit, and it was like dunk, and then it would just stop, and then like you would get, the hit, and then it would just stop. And it always just felt like kind of like that. And I think that was one of the things that I didn't like about Mortal Kombat to Street Fighter, and why I always kind of gravitated more towards those Capcom games than to the Mortal Kombats.
All right, and that's fair. And for me, I liked the realistic look of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously liked the violence. The fact that you're showing me blood was awesome. The fatalities, obviously, a big bonus on top of that. That was always cool. And I just overall, I just really liked I just liked the style and the attitude of Mortal Kombat over Street Fighter. And that continued on, as time went on, because, obviously both franchises were super popular.
Oh God.
So many sequels, so many
Street Fighter 6. And we're back to Mortal Kombat 1 again.
And we're back to Mortal Kombat 1. But that was after they got all the way to Mortal Kombat 11, and not talking about the ones in between, and not talking about the spin-off
Sub-Zero.
Like Sub-Zero, Mortal Kombat Mythology, Sub-Zero, and then they did one for Sonya and Jax.
Oh God, and what was the one with Liu Kang and Kung Lao?
Oh, I forgot. Shaolin Monks?
Yes, Shaolin Monks. That was a fun one.
Yeah. So they had their own spin-off for characters. But before we get to that, the first Mortal Kombat, who was your go-to?
I want to say I started with Scorpion and went to Sub-Zero.
Yep. And I did the reverse.
Yeah.
I did Sub-Zero and went to Scorpion.
Now, okay, here's a question I have for you, which is, going with the entire catalog of Mortal Kombats.
Yep.
What Mortal Kombat is your go-to? Which Mortal Kombat is your this is the
I have it
version?
right here.
Oh!
Mortal Kombat Trilogy for N64. This was the be-all end-all because it took all the games that first came out. Like here's a copy of Mortal Kombat 3 that I have. I do not have a copy of 2 or 1, and I need to get those. But it took all of the original ones, including Ultimate 3, threw them all together. You had every character you can think of in this one game.
Mm-hmm.
This was perfection. And the fact that there's no remaster of this or re-release of this on a current system is just absolutely, it's a travesty. This game had it all.
Do you know what was my favorite thing about that one?
What?
If I remember right, it's not on the N64 version, but I think it was on the PlayStation 1 version. You could do the one-button fatalities. Yes, I know. And there was actually a time last year when you were here, and we tried to unlock it on this one, and we couldn't figure out why it didn't exist. And it turns out that it was on the PlayStation, and it's not on that one. So the definitive Mortal Kombat for me, we also have it right here.
Ultimate Edition?
No,
what is it?
That's the 9.
9.
This version Oh my God. Can I tell you the amount of
Complete edition.
hours,
That's what I was thinking of.
the amount of hours my buddies and I spent playing this,
Yeah.
especially in tag mode?
Oh, this is a great one. Yeah.
Oh my God. We used to sit down
It also
and
had Freddy Krueger. Made me very happy.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because it was always four of us hanging out, and we all had our mains. My mains in this was Smoke, Scorpion, and Johnny Cage.
Nice.
And I used to troll everybody with the groin punch. But one of my favorites that we used to do with that is because we would always do like best of three, best of three, best of three, and we had our mains, and we would do pink slips for our mains, where if I beat you while you were playing one of your mains, then I owned it until you could beat me with your main. So Katana, one of my friends used to use Katana all the time, and I used to just like make fun of him all the time playing as her. And used to be able to beat him regularly. I mean, I was terrible with her, so he would always win her right back.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun just like taking her.
Just taking her from him even for a little while.
Yep.
That's awesome. Never did any of that with. I never did any that style of gaming with my friends, but like I said, Mortal Kombat trilogy for N64 probably I got the most use out of, especially because the N64 was just naturally a multiplayer game. So, you know, all of my friends, we would sit down and we would play this for hours and hours and hours. We would sit there and obviously at that point we either had a book. Either a game book or somebody told us what the fatalities were so we can figure them out. And at that time too, they had gone past fatalities because you had fatalities, you had babalities, you had animalities. Friendships. There was a whole bunch.
Did you ever do a friendship?
Yes.
I never did friendships.
I did friendships.
You don't play Mortal Kombat to do a friendship.
Yes. Well, you do if they put it in the game. Yeah. But Mortal Kombat, yeah, like Mortal Kombat to me is like the definitive fighting game franchise.
So go back to Street Fighter for 1 second.
I'll go back to Street Fighter because I wanted to show. I do have a couple of Street Fighters in my collection, not many. The first one I actually bought in Japan, and it was the original version for the Super Famicom, and you know, obviously in box, great condition.
Yeah, really.
Well, everything I buy, everything Japan stuff. Look, it's still in the plastic. Look how nice this is. Very clean.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what it costs? $5.
Oh God. Wow.
Yeah, 500 yen, $5, more or less. But I picked this up when I was in Japan. I do not have a US version of Street Fighter 2, which is also sad. And then I have a copy of Street Fighter 4 on PlayStation 3.
So going with, and I'm glad you pulled that one up. You're talking about like again, which version of Street Fighter is my favorite?
Yep.
4.
4 is your favorite. Why is 4 your favorite?
The playing online, I had the most fun playing online with that. And the move set, I think that was the first time I remember being able to pull off like some of the moves that I couldn't pull off. Like I mentioned the Raging Demon. And I mean, playing online, dear God, sometimes you would just get these like people who just, you know, the match would start and you would end up like on the floor round over like, can I move?
Yes.
But it was like there was an actual pretty good community of players in that. And I remember literally my record was 100 wins and 100 losses.
Oh, wow. You were even.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, like this is pretty good. And, you know, you'd find like there was nothing better. And same thing, even when you went to like you sat in an arcade and you found somebody and you would go like you would get round 1 and I would get round 2. And then the third round would come down to whoever got the last hit.
Yep.
Like, I mean, there was a number of times in that you could partner up at the end of it. And then like there were so many times people I'd be playing with, we would just partner up and we would just keep playing because we just kept on, you know, like trading on and off. And it was just, so to me, 4 was my favorite.
Okay. I gotta go back to 2 because that's really where like I loved 2 and I never left Street Fighter 2. Like when Street Fighter moved on, when they did their
3
and Alpha and X Plus Alpha and all those other ones, I never went on to those. So
I liked
another
Alpha.
on 6.
Yeah. I liked Alpha, but still I keep coming back to 4.
Okay. Well, that's fair. The other one that comes to mind when I think of the 3D was SoulCalibur. And I remember getting SoulCalibur on the Dreamcast And I'm really angry because I had a copy and I can't seem to find it, and that upsets me because I still had I still had up until recently when I looked and saw it was missing. I still had my original copy that I bought 20 something
Oh
years ago.
wow.
Because my Dreamcast, I kept everything that I bought.
Mm-hmm.
And SoulCalibur, I absolutely loved. There was something about it. It was very limited in the number of characters you had. I think you only had, like, at that
8?
point, I think you had 8 or 10.
Yeah.
I think it was 8.
Mm-hmm.
So not a lot of characters, but the fighting in it was fluid. The moves were like, the characters were big, the moves were big, and they felt like you were doing a lot of damage. There was something about that game, like everything about like the graphics were very, very vivid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it makes sense because the Dreamcast was essentially like having an arcade at home.
Yeah,
like that was the tech that they put into the Dreamcast, and it's a shame it was not more successful than it should have been. It absolutely should have been more successful.
Yep.
Lack of third party support, I think, was what really
killed it.
Yeah, really killed it. But SoulCalibur, I will have to say, was one of the shining moments on the Dreamcast by far. And I can't remember the name of the character I used to use because I haven't played that in a really, really long time. I can't remember. I remember there was one character who had he had almost like Edward Scissorhands.
Yes, he had the 3 blades, and he
had the 3 blades, and he was always like very, very like fluid on the screen. And
I know exactly the character you're talking about.
It was a little creepy too.
Yeah, yeah.
His name, if I remember correctly, started with a V. It was like Volta or something.
I don't remember.
But I loved playing SoulCalibur. And the one thing I really loved about that game is that I played as every character in the game too, and I never felt like I couldn't figure them out. So there was something about that game where like I really connected with the gameplay aspect of it. And that was probably the one fighting game after Mortal Kombat. After playing Mortal Kombat for so long, that was the one fighting game I remember playing the most.
So many of my friends were all about the SoulCaliburs.
Yeah.
Like I remember I had a buddy who was like all about SoulCalibur 2. He had like all the different versions. Was it the GameCube had
Link from Legend of Zelda?
I think the PS2 had Spawn.
Yep.
Right. And then the Xbox had the guy from...
Didn't the Xbox have Spawn and PS2 had? Or was it reverse?
One or the other.
One or the other.
I think you might be right. I think Xbox had Spawn.
Yep.
And PS2 had Hayachi.
Maybe. Yep.
Something like that.
Something like that.
And I remember just being like, I sat down with them and I'm just like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, give me Street Fighter.
Voldo was the name of that guy.
Voldo.
Yeah, see, I know it was close. I had to look it up.
You're one of those guys that does homework in class when you're told not to.
I do. I just, here, this is what my phone's for. I did the homework in class. Sorry, teacher. Actually, you are a teacher.
Yep.
There you go. Sophicia was the one that I remember using a lot of in that game.
But I will say again, going with half the fun was the guest fighters.
Yes, it was really fun.
Because don't you have a SoulCalibur over there?
I do have a SoulCalibur sitting over here now that you bring it up. It is SoulCalibur 4 for the PlayStation 3.
And who was the guest on that one?
The guest on this one was... Oh, okay. The premier weapon-based fighting game feature your favorite characters. Guests from Star Wars Galaxy. Darth Vader and his secret apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you had in this one.
Star Killer.
Yes.
Yep. So
Darth Vader.
I had fun. I would every time I would pop this one in, I would only ever play Darth Vader and what's his name? And Star Killer.
Oh, look, my receipt.
The original receipt.
Well, everybody who's been watching this show knows that I keep the receipts to everything I buy. So this was purchased. Actually, this wasn't purchased that long ago. This was purchased in 2020. Actually, December 2024.
Oh wow.
In Canada.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So I picked this up. I picked this up with Castlevania: Lords of Shadow and Lord of the Rings. I think
SNES one, right?
No. Lord of the Rings War of the North on PS3. It was
okay.
The PS3 Lord of the Rings game. So, but yes. So Darth Vader was the go-to guy here.
And I think on the 360 it was Yoda was the
Was Yoda the one?
Yeah, pretty sure.
That's got to be fun playing as like a little Yoda beating the crap out of everybody.
But I don't know. They never spoke to me. I tried, and as much as I know everybody loved them, I just could not get into them.
All right.
I don't know why.
Well, I mean, you were probably too busy with Tekken.
Street Fighter.
Or Street Fighter. Yeah, and Street Fighter at that point. Because again, with all of these other games that came out, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat were still going strong straight through.
Yep.
You know, those are the two series that to this day have still not stopped.
Nope. Well, you know, you just pulled a game over here too, and you know, kind of going back to the Dreamcast for a minute, and going back to also what I was talking about at the very beginning of the show. Around that time, I was playing a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Of course.
I mean,
because we were Marvel guys.
You had 30-something characters you could choose from in that game.
Which is unheard of. That was like well, that's why like Mortal Kombat Trilogy, that's what was so appealing about that.
You had the amount of players. Yes. It was like, oh my God, who do I choose?
Yep.
And going like if I'm given the choice between SoulCalibur or Marvel Capcom 2, I was always going to Marvel Capcom 2.
Of course. That just makes sense.
And, you know, it's like you got to pick your team and then which team were you going to do. By the way, funny story about Marvel vs. Capcom 2. When it came out for the 360, that was the only time you could ever choose the same character 3 times.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Otherwise, once you chose the character, that's it. They were
right. You had to choose somebody else.
So I used to drive my buddy Andrew absolutely nuts.
3 Spider-Man?
Nope.
Oh.
3 Juggernauts.
3 Juggernauts.
And he hated it because there was literally nowhere on the screen
that you
could get away from. And he tried being the little serve bot, the little green, yellow guy.
Yes.
And didn't matter.
You still smashed him?
Smashed him so bad.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Should have picked Hulk.
Juggernaut.
Would they even fit on the screen together?
Oh
Juggernaut
God, probably not.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and getting into before we get into the Marvel stuff fully, I just wanted to throw out one more just because I have a copy of the game. Because this is more in that Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat kind of phase, was Eternal Champions.
I've always wanted to play it.
Yeah, Eternal Champions was an interesting... It was Sega's answer to the fighting series, like trying to come up with their own version. This is the Sega CD version. They had one on the Genesis as well.
Yep.
Which I remember... I don't remember if I rented it or owned it. But it was an interesting fighting game. It had some really cool moves. It looks very Mortal Kombat-esque on the back.
Did it have fatalities?
I think so. They were yes. Here, I'll just read it on the back. 4 ways to finish your opponent: vicious overkills, shocking sudden deaths, ultra personal vendettas, and brutally graphic cinekills. They were called. So. And the whole thing about this one, every champion was like a different martial arts style. So they each had different versions of martial arts that they used as a weapon. We should just play this one day.
Yeah.
Since I own it.
Yeah. I can finally say I have played it.
You can finally say you'll play it. And this is 1 or 2 players, even on the Sega CD. But I remember Eternal Champions was just like a fun alternative. And I also, I mean, I could be wrong when I say this, but this might have come to console before Mortal Kombat did. Might have. Not 100% sure on that. Could have been later. It could have been Sega's answer to trying to like have their own version instead of licensing out like a Mortal Kombat. But it was still a fun game.
Yeah.
It was a fun game. Definitely one I remember. But getting back to Marvel.
Yes.
Because Marvel, before Marvel Capcom, they dipped their toe into the fighting genre with X-Men. X-Men to me, I think, was the very first one.
Yep.
On their end. That
94, I think it was?
94, 95-ish?
Yeah.
I think. And the first one that I remember, and I think this was the first one, was X-Men Children of the Atom.
Yep.
And I actually have my original copy of X-Men Children of the Atom. And this was for PC. And it only played on DOS. It was not a Windows game. It's right here on the front. DOS CD-ROM.
Wow.
This was a DOS-based game. And I still have it. It's still in excellent condition, too. But I remember when they came out with this game, and I'm like, X-Men fighting each other? Yes, I must
Sign
own
me
this.
up.
Must own this. So, and at the time, I don't remember if it was out for anything else. So I grabbed it. I grabbed it for DOS. Had a blast playing as the X-Men. And then from there, they built that whole franchise.
Yep.
You went from X-Men to just X-Men versus Street Fighter, and there was your first crossover.
By the way.
Yep.
He
Colossus.
was the most evil. I hated... there we go.
Yeah.
I hated playing against Colossus.
That bad.
Because he would throw up that armor, and then it was just... Forget it. It was done. You couldn't touch him.
I can understand that. But X-Men vs. Street Fighter, which came out next, was then like an ultimate crossover.
No, Marvel Superheroes was next.
Oh, it's Marvel Superheroes next?
Yeah.
Okay. Marvel Superheroes, I remember, but I didn't play it a lot.
I played it a lot. Oh God.
Because Spider-Man was in it.
Yeah. And I remember again when it came out, like when these came out to the PS1, one of the things I hated was that the fierce buttons, fierce punch, fierce kick, were the shoulder buttons, and I found that to be so awkward when trying to do the moves by trying to do this. And
yeah, they did not come out with like a standard like 6-button controller like you would have needed.
And you know, like I was thankful for was that you could remap the buttons, and I would always do my light punches and then my hard kicks and then my mediums, because I never used my mediums. It would always be up here.
Smart. Yeah, you do what works for you.
Exactly.
But then Marvel, so you had Marvel Superheroes. Then there was X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and I remember playing that a lot in the arcade.
Yep.
Not at home.
Yep.
And then they went to Marvel Capcom, right?
X-Men. No, it was Marvel Street
No,
Fighter.
it was
Marvel versus Street Fighter.
Wasn't it Marvel SNK?
No.
No, Marvel. Yeah, there were so many different ones.
Yeah, no.
I'm trying to think of the ones though that I played.
So it was X-Men Street Fighter, because then I remember it was Marvel Street Fighter, and I remember just at that point I was kind of getting like, I'm getting a little done with this, because it was like literally just recycling just the same characters, and I was kind of like, where are we going with this?
Yep.
And then it went to Marvel vs. Capcom, and I was like, wait a minute, Venom is available now?
Yep.
Game changer.
Well, Venom, and then you had a whole bunch of Capcom characters that came out of the woodwork. So now it wasn't just Street Fighter.
Yep.
You know, Mega Man, right? Mega
Man was in there.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember in the first Marvel versus Capcom who the characters were. The second one, I can tell you, like I remember playing as Jill Valentine, and like you can pull out the tyrant, and all of a sudden he came flying through there, and I was like, oh, what is this?
Well, let's see. The first Marvel Capcom had over 100 playable fighters from the comic book series, so that's just a lot of characters. I don't have a list.
Yeah,
because
the problem being was some of them were support characters, so they were, you know.
But yeah, I mean, these games just like took like franchises that you would want to pit against each other, and they actually managed to put them up against each other. They licensed.
But here we are 30 years later, and we still don't have a Marvel versus DC fighting game. What is going on here? Why, guys, can't talk to each other?
Yes,
talk to each other.
No Marvel. We had Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe.
We did, but that was.
We had that. We did not. Yeah, but you are correct. We did. And then there was what was the name of the DC Fighter series? Wasn't there? Was it Injustice? Injustice Amongst Gods?
Yes, Injustice.
Yes,
Injustice was fun.
Injustice was fun. X-Men 2, like the other one that I had, this one just had a retro birthday actually. This one too was Mutant Academy, which I have sitting here from PlayStation. This one had a bit more of a it almost had like a movie like feel to it in a way,
because it came out around the same time.
It came out around the same time as the first X-Men movie. Yeah, this is in 2000, and that's when the first X-Men movie came out.
And there's
and there you go, right on the back is the promo for it, or the ad for it. But and the game actually, I think the game contained a lot of the characters you saw in the films. So you had Cyclops, Wolverine. Oh no, it did have Gambit, Storm and Beast, Jean Grey as Phoenix, and then you had Toad, Sabretooth, Mystique, and Magneto. It basically had oddly enough, every character in the film except Gambit. Gambit didn't exist in the film. He was the only different one.
It took 25 more years for him to show up on film.
In a Deadpool movie, no less, which was still great. But
I didn't like that one.
This one was a bit of a rough go. I had a little bit of struggles with it. X-Men Next Dimension, which came out after this, was better.
I don't think I played that one.
Yeah, that was actually better.
Oh wait, was that on the PS2?
Yes.
Okay, no, I did play it.
Yeah.
I don't remember it though.
No, I did like that one better, but I still have this one in my collection. Actually, I probably bought it more recently because it still has a price tag on it. But games with Marvel characters fighting each other just makes sense, because that's what we read in the comic books.
Right.
That's what you see in the movies. It's all about pitting the characters against each other. So, like, to me, any type of comic book character in a fighting game just makes sense.
You know, why haven't we gotten a Street Fighter Mortal Kombat?
Probably because the two companies don't want to talk to each other.
I know, guys, come on, man. we need this. Like,
well, right now
the fans.
we're getting a Street Fighter. We're getting two separate movies. We're getting another Mortal Kombat
Yep.
movie, and we're getting a Street Fighter movie now.
Yep.
Which is like, and half of the cast is like WWE wrestlers, which is weird to me.
And was it David Demical?
Oh, he was playing Bison. I can't
Yep.
say his last name.
Yeah, neither can I.
Yes, he was in not Justice League. What was the?
He was in The Dark Knight. He was in
No. He played. Didn't he play the Polka Dot Man in?
yes, Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Mhm.
Yes.
And he was in Late Night with the Devil.
Yes. Was he in Deadpool?
Yes.
I feel like he was in Deadpool. No. You know what? I'm thinking of something else. I'm sorry. He was in Ant-Man.
He was in Ant-Man?
Yeah, he was one of his friends, wasn't he?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yep.
But the whole Marvel series to me, like that of everything outside of Mortal Kombat, that was my favorite fighting series because I loved anything Marvel, anything with fighting Marvel, any Marvel game in general, with the exception of X-Men on the NES, which was trash. Any Marvel game, I was up to give a try.
Yep.
And especially with the fighting game. Now, in terms of the games themselves, I was terrible at them. I could not manage Marvel, Capcom, none of them. I was never good at them.
I was never good at I had buddies who could do like those 99 hit air combos.
Yep.
I couldn't do that. I just Spider-Man bounce off of everything and just keep
I was
if you can.
I was always like I would pick the faster guys and just try and stay away and like, jab and jump, whatever it was.
Yep.
I was never fighting genre is not my strong suit at all. I've never been that great at it.
So one of the other ones I wanted to kind of go back and talk to, it's a franchise that I loved, and again, talking about hours upon hours spent playing. Again, in my parents' basement with my friends, Bloody Roar.
Ah, Bloody Roar. That's a good one.
But what's funny is I only like the first one, and there's a reason. There's a game mechanic that was only in the first one that they, for whatever reason, removed in all the other ones subsequently. Was you were in, you were on your platform, and there was the four walls, but if you hit somebody into the walls enough, the walls would break down.
Okay.
And then you could ring out, which was awesome because it added a whole different dimension to now. Even though I might be winning, the other person can pull a move and completely knock you out.
Right.
And it was there were certain characters, especially I remember the lion, the tiger, there were some of them, and they had this one move where when they were in their animal form, if you went like this, what would happen is it would send you flying across the platform. And again, if the wall was down, you just went ring out. And what we would do is, because they didn't have a question, a random button on that game, I would press the left, my buddies would press the right, and we would just let it go, and we couldn't look at the screen. We would have to just look off, or actually we'd do this. We'd be like, look at me, ready? And then we would hit, and we would look to see who we got, and it'd be like, oh, no, I got the stupid monkey gorilla again. And then it would be like, oh my God, I got the bunny love, who was Alice, I think her name was. But man, and then for whatever reason, they took out the knocking the walls down. And it was only on a KO would the wall go down. And I was like, you just took out the thing that made this game so much fun.
I wonder if people didn't like the fact that could happen. Because you could be beating somebody senseless and then they just so happen to knock you out and they win. But it's a great dynamic to think about because it's a challenge when you're playing to make sure it's don't get too close to the wall, because if you get, it kept you away from the edge, which so many people, when you do a fighting game, I remember doing this all the time where it's you hit somebody and then you jump all the way back against the edge of the screen. So, so it lessened the chance that they would hit you back. And that took it away from you.
Yep.
So,
and so much fun. The soundtrack was great on it. The characters were fun. It was I mentioned the gorilla guy who changed into the gorilla, especially if three of the walls were down. He had a move where he would grab you by the foot and then he would spin you around and just throw you.
Nice.
And you were just like, no, please hit the wall, please hit the wall, please hit the wall. And then next thing you know, you were flying out. And you're like, no. Nice.
See, and I've never played Bloody Roar. Never played
God, it's so much
fun. That was one of the ones I missed out on.
And it was an easy game to pick up. Really, really easy. So if you haven't played Bloody Roar for the PS1, do yourself a favor, find a copy, pick it up, play it. Trust me, you'll love it.
Or maybe you'll randomly find it in a retro arcade because that's where it started.
Yeah.
So, cool. A couple other ones I wanted to bring up. Actually, a couple of them I don't think we did not put on a list. We actually came up with a list of stuff that we wanted to talk about. But while we were talking, there were a couple that came to mind we didn't put on the list. One, I feel like you can't talk about the fighting genre without talking about Neo Geo. I feel like every Neo Geo cabinet had at least one fighting game in them. I feel like I had one fighting game and a Metal Slug, like every single Neo Geo cabinet, because they would have 4 games in them.
And the baseball game.
Oh, yes. And there was always a baseball game, the SNK baseball, right? But the one that popped into my head that I remember playing in Neo Geo, and it's another form of a fighting game, but King of the Monsters.
Oh, God.
Remember King of the Monsters?
Oh, I hated that game.
I love that game. That game was so much fun.
I was terrible at it.
See, I always play it as like the radioactive man guy who I don't remember his real name in there, but he looked like a superhero, like a radioactive superhero. I love that. I love that. I loved playing as him. I love the idea. It was like a mix of like Godzilla and a fighting game because like you were destroying the city around you, walking around, beating up the other person. You were throwing them into the.
Wasn't there like a blue gorilla or something?
There was a gorilla.
Yeah, that's who I used.
Yeah, but you could throw people into like the electrical wires and stuff like that, and then while you're fighting, the army is coming to shoot at you too. Yeah. Like there was a whole bunch of chaos going on the screen while you were battling it out. I had so much fun with that game.
I liked the concept of it.
It just didn't do it for you.
It just something with the controls and me didn't mesh.
Okay. And that's perfectly fine.
Oh my God. Do you know what game we didn't even mention? We didn't even put on the list and we didn't even think of.
I may be mentioning it next, but you're going to say it. What are you going to say?
Smash.
That was going to be the other one.
How did we miss that one?
I was about to say, we completely forgot to look at Nintendo because we naturally don't think Nintendo would have. Oh my God. We would naturally think that Nintendo does not have a fighting game.
Yeah.
And then there's Super Smash Brothers.
Oh my God. How did we miss that?
We didn't. I was about to bring it up.
Yeah. But on our list.
Yes. I don't know. Because again, I never think of Nintendo in fighting games.
Yeah.
That's just a normal thing for me.
I mean, I know why I missed it.
Why did you miss it?
I hate Smash.
Okay. So I hated Smash in the beginning. Like the Super Nintendo, the N64 one, when it first came out. Everybody was raving about, oh my God, this is like a whole new way of fighting and all this stuff. And I remember playing it and I'm like, I don't see why this is so special. I couldn't get it. When Melee came out.
That's where I am still, by the way.
Okay. When Melee came out, it started to change my mind. It was like on GameCube. Melee added more to it, more levels, more characters. There was more fun to be had, I think, with Melee than the original. Which makes sense, right? The first one's always like, we're putting a foundation and then we're building on it. Fast forward. Super Smash Ultimate on the Switch. I played through the entire story mode. Loved every single minute of it. They added so much to that game. The story mode, like there were so many challenges, so many things to accomplish, so much stuff you had to do, and then wrapping a whole story around it was really, really fun. And as you went through,
was that the one with the hand?
Yeah, with the giant hand. And then as you went through, you were saving the other characters because everybody gets the whole story about it was like everybody gets abducted by these giant hand things, whatever it is, except for I think it was Kirby. I think and I think you start with just one person, and then you're saving everybody along the way. I absolutely I plowed through that. It was so much fun. It's more fun than playing against my friends in it. Like really, like I enjoy, like, again, like, even though like I played a lot of video games with my friends, like at home, I always played solo, right? Because I had 2 sisters. They didn't play video games very much. So anything one player in, like where it's a solo player adventure, that's what would appeal to me. And seeing that in the Switch game, I absolutely just devoured it. And I was like, you know what? If this was in the previous versions, and maybe there is one, I don't remember because I did not play the one on the Wii, and I did not play the one on the Wii U, and I don't know if they were the same. But I only played a little bit of the GameCube one. But the one on the Switch, like I absolutely loved, and it made me respect that franchise more than I ever did.
You give me Street Fighter, I can pull off the moves. You give me Mortal Kombat, I can pull off the combos. You give me all these games, for whatever reason, You give me a Smash Brothers game, and I get 2 left thumbs.
Yep.
And it's funny when my students come up to me and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to challenge." They bring in their Switch and they're like, "Oh, I want to challenge you, Mr. DePinto," because they know I play games. And I'm always like, "You realize that's like beating your little brother?"
Yes.
And they're like, "Yeah, but you're my teacher." And I'm like, "Yes, but
it means something to them."
I'm like, "But you have to understand, like, beating me in this game is like just going up to a little baby and just punching them in the face or something."
Yeah, but to me, that's a challenge. See, I would get really good at it, so then I would surprise them and beat them.
Mm.
And there are ways. I bet you if you played the one on the Switch, you might change your tune a little bit about it. Mostly because the story mode taught me how to get better playing as the characters, because you had to, and you didn't have to worry about playing against other people who already know how to play, who are kicking your butt as you're figuring it out. The single player mode allowed you to figure it out. And that's the part that was great about it, because I finally got the time to be like, oh, okay, I can learn moves before somebody throws me off the screen.
And I think that's part of the problem is every time I've ever sat down with it, I'm playing with people who are like, "Oh, it's Smash Brothers. Oh my God."
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure, go ahead, kick my butt. I'll just sit there and I'll be like, "Oh," I always use Ridley. And I would just sit there and just keep launching the tail attack.
Nice.
And that's it.
I naturally like it, at least on the Switch one. I always went to Link. I would always use Link, and he's not the most powerful one. Like, you see, and the fact that like the other thing, the testament to Smash Brothers, which is so good, is that like Melee they still do Melee tournaments all around the country, because Melee is still considered the definitive Smash game. And on top of that, the GameCube controller is still made, I think, for every Nintendo system, because it is the definitive Smash Brothers controller. Everybody wants a GameCube controller just to play Smash.
Yep. I still have my 3.
Do you? Nice.
Still have them.
I only, what's funny? GameCube, I only ever had the original controller that came with my system. I never bought another one.
Really?
I never bought multiplayer games for the GameCube, because at that point, I don't think anybody was really playing the GameCube.
I had my 2 regular Nintendo ones, and then I had a Spider-Man one. Go figure.
Of course.
And I still have all 3 of those.
Nice. Yeah, I keep looking at my GameCube thinking I need to buy another controller just to have one in case mine breaks. Like a backup would be nice. And I would like the controller for the Switch, the GameCube one.
Yeah.
But Smash Brothers like has to be mentioned, because again, Nintendo found a way to take their characters and their format and their style and mold it into a fighting game.
But even still, like I remember the first time they grabbed Snake and brought Snake in. I was like, "What?
Yep.
You got Snake into this?"
Yeah.
Whoa. And who were some of the other guests? I remember they had a couple of other ones that was like, "Wait, you grabbed them too?"
Bayonetta was in it.
Yep.
Bayonetta was in it. I can't remember the other ones, but they definitely pulled in other characters.
Yeah, there was some really good guest fighters in there, and I remember being like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." I mean, I hated playing as Snake, but I thought it was really cool that he was in the game.
Yes. I remember. I mean, there were so many other like Ice Climber. The Ice Climber characters were in them. That was kind of fun.
And was it Ultimate also had 8v8, right? Not 8v8, but eight players against each other.
Yeah, you can have 8 people on the screen.
I mean, again,
which is chaos. Just chaos.
But for me, who's not very good at it, I'm like, what am I looking at?
Yes, it's incredibly fast and frenetic.
Yeah,
and it's hard to keep it. And that's the reason why it's like you can't play an 8-player game unless you know how to play the game.
Yes,
if you don't know how to play, you're just going to get destroyed.
That's me.
Yeah,
and so
we should play after.
Yes, conceptually, I love the idea of 8 people playing against each other, and I love the idea of the chaos that it brings. But there's just, like I said, I got 2 left thumbs. I can't, it's like,
finally a game I can beat you at then.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We're gonna play Smash after this. But yeah, I'm glad we did. I'm glad both of us remembered that, and because I felt, we can't have a fighting episode without talking about Smash.
How would it? Wow.
But based off of that, are there any other fighters worth bringing up? Or
there's one on here that we put on the list. I'd love to kind of bring up, and because it was a game that was supposed to come out for the PlayStation 1, and it got banned, canceled. I don't remember what it is.
It got canceled.
And I was working with a guy that he was able to burn a copy for me.
Mhm.
And
Because it was like 90 or 95% done when it got canceled.
yeah, and Thrill Kill.
Thrill Kill.
And it was a kind of a Mortal Kombat type of clone, but instead of having energy that you were beating the person down with, you were trying to build up your fatality meter.
Mhm.
And then once you got your meter all the way up to the top, then what you would do is you would kind of like rage up, I guess, or whatever it was. And then you would just go up to any one of the other 4 players. And if I remember right, I think each button was its own fatality.
Was a different kill. Yeah.
And you would just go and you would hit them, and then it would just, you'd kill them.
Yeah.
And again, 4-player chaos, just a lot of fun.
Incredibly violent.
Incredibly violent.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like, wasn't this the one where like you were like, I'm trying to remember if I like, because I remember when it got canceled, but like you were like, you can rip somebody's arm off and beat them with it, and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, again, the mechanics were not great. It was not fun at all in that way. But in the sense of having 4 of your buddies sitting down and all of you just mashing buttons and just figuring out who got to be the first person to pull off one of those fatalities, that was fun. What about you? Anything for you?
Off the top of my head, no. I feel like I would be remiss to not just do a couple of honorable mentions to series that I personally didn't play, but I know that they're out there and I know that they're popular. Fatal Fury is one of them. King of Fighters was coming out with a game like every year.
Oh God.
For a while.
Yep.
Neo Geo did their own like compilation fighting game called Neo Geo Battle Coliseum in like 2005, I think, where they took characters from all of their games and put them up against each other. So I thought like that one's worth bringing up because it actually was a cool idea to do that because they had all these different fighting games that they can do.
Pull them all together.
Clay Fighter.
Yeah.
Clay Fighter was another one.
I never played it, but I know so many people who played it and loved it.
I remember renting it. And it was a lot of fun. It wasn't enough fun for me to want to buy it because, again, this was still during an era where I'm like, oh, Mortal Kombat's cooler because there's blood and guts and stuff like that. So,
what was the one you were telling me about that you used to play a lot of that you were like, oh my God, you played this game?
Rival Schools.
Yeah.
Rival Schools. So I bought Rival Schools on PS1 and I absolutely loved it. First off, it was the first 2-disc fighting game I've ever had.
2 discs?
It had 2 discs.
How did that work?
And I have no idea. I don't remember exactly how it worked. I think when you got to a certain point, you just had to switch to disc. Maybe just in single player mode or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you loaded up on the first disc and you went to the second disc. I can't remember exactly what it was. But I just remember playing that game and having an absolute blast because it was very easy. I remember it being very easy to remember what moves to do with the characters. So, and it flowed really well. It was a lot of fun. I loved the cartoonish style it had to it. It was a very popular game in Japan, to my understanding. Wasn't that big in the US. So it didn't sell very well here. And nowadays, like, you can buy a copy, but it's over $100 to buy. I don't have my original copy. I wound up selling it off at some point, and I wish I still had it because I remember how much I loved playing Rival Schools. And I played it on my own.
I remember seeing it like when I would go into like Software Etc. or Electronics Boutique, but I never picked it up and I never played it.
Well, because it was an unknown. It really was. It was just an unknown title. So if you and you always go with stuff that's more familiar to you. And when you had other options out there, again, this one was just kind of, I don't want to say lost in the shuffle, but it's like it just didn't register because here was the newest Mortal Kombat and here's the newest Street Fighter that came out. It's like, so everybody run that way. And at this point, Virtual Fighter was starting to pick up. Tekken was picking up. King of Fighters was, going strong. So I just feel like the market was crowded as it was. So like these other types of games didn't get the opportunity to shine. And of all of them, I have to say like Rival Schools was like, I loved Rival Schools. And I feel like anybody who hasn't played Rival Schools, if you get an opportunity to do it, I recommend it.
That's another one I guess we need to play at some point.
We'll have to track it down and play it for sure. But those are all the ones that come to mind for me just to throw out there as like honorable mentions basically.
So honorable mentions for me, I would say This one I hated. Pit Fighter.
Pit Fighter was awful.
I hated that
I
game.
think everybody hated Pit Fighter. I've never met anybody who liked Pit Fighter. And I remember playing the arcade version.
That same for me.
Terrible.
And it used same thing. It didn't use motion capture.
Yep.
And I just remember being
poorly.
Horribly.
Poorly.
I remember the controls just being painfully bad.
Yeah. And there was like a weird way you fought on the screen, if I remember correctly, because you can move around on the board. It was almost like the board was a little isometric, so you can move up and down along with fighting, but it wasn't fluid because it was motion capture character. Everything about it just
off.
Didn't work. Everything about it didn't work.
And then the other one, I didn't play this that much, but my wife, she used to play it a lot. Was Darkstalkers.
Darkstalkers, I never played.
Really?
Never played it.
And
it's right up my alley for the theme.
The horror theme.
Yeah, the horror theming.
There was some fun characters in there. There was the mummy. There was the zombie dude who looked like Eddie from Iron Maiden.
Nice.
There was the Morgan, who was eventually in the Mortal Capcom games. Mm-hmm. No, there was a lot of fun with it. And again, like, it's a shame that I don't think, because they came out with the new Capcom Fighting Collection.
Yes.
I don't remember if
Darkstalkers was on it. I thought it was.
Is it?
We're going to find out in a minute if you keep talking, because I'll look it up really quickly.
But that was another one where you had these really cool specials that you could pull off. Again, you had Darkstalkers 3, I remember, was another fun one that really kind of helped perfect it a little bit more in terms of it. No,
it's not on the new collection.
Really?
Power Stone made the new collection.
Interesting.
Yeah, but not Darkstalkers. Was Darkstalkers a Capcom game?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And did it make the first collection?
Yeah, apparently not.
Oh, interesting. I don't know why. But all right. Any other ones to bring up?
No.
Oh no! Wait a minute. Darkstalkers was on the first collection.
Oh wait. So there's two. Oh wait. Oh, there's
Capcom Fighting Collection that was released in 2022, and then this Capcom Fighting Collection 2, which came out recently.
Got you.
In the first Fighting Collection, Darkstalkers made the list.
Got you. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, at least that's what I think this says. Yeah. So
I guess the one last one we haven't mentioned, really, that, again, I know if I didn't mention this, my buddies would end up being like, dudes.
Yeah, why didn't you say this?
Why did you say Killer Instinct?
Oh, Killer Instinct. I remember that.
I tried playing it probably, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. It was the first time I sat down and played it.
Very clunky.
Oh God, painfully so.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like, and again, this is another testament to, having played games for like 40 years.
Yeah.
Is that back then they weren't clunky to us at all, because it was all new. Like, it's like, wait, we can do what in a game?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll figure it out. We don't care how clunky it is. We didn't even think about it being clunky. But as games obviously have improved, you go back and you play these games. I do this all the time when I play stuff like when I go back and play like Super Mario Kart or F-Zero on the Super Nintendo, I can't play them.
Oh God,
I can't play them. The controls are so hard to like, and I don't know if it was just like I had better reflexes back then too, in terms of like turning and things like that. But like, and it's the same thing with fighting games. It's like you go back and you're like, I don't remember it being this clunky.
Play the original Doom on the SNES.
Oh no. I will not. I will not, especially since I have it on PC.
Yeah, there you go. But
Doom was always meant for PC. Always meant for a PC game.
That's a whole nother show.
A different episode. But other than that, I feel like we've run the gamut of fighting games in terms of our own experiences.
But what about your experiences? Like, is there any any games that we haven't mentioned that you guys, maybe out there, why don't you drop us a line, right?
Yeah, you can drop us a line. We would definitely want to hear about your own personal stories with playing some of these fighting games over the years, whether you started playing them recently or you did play them like 30 years ago, like we did. And you can hit us up at facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, on Instagram and Blue Sky at RetroGamersPodcast. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube and Spotify at RetroGamersPodcast, or you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com. Rich, this was actually a fun one.
Yeah.
We didn't even mention the fact that we hit up a comic book convention before we came.
Oh yeah, we did that.
Yeah, before we recorded this today. It was a
library.
At a library. At a local library, there was a comic book convention.
With one person selling comics.
One person selling comics. So needless to say, it wasn't super successful. But Rich, this has been a fun day. As always, I love recording episodes with you,
Thanks for
especially
having me. I love
because
being here.
yeah, and we get to go down memory lane together. We do have some memory lane together. We do have some where we were apart, but still, it's always fun to go down.
Yeah.
And for everybody else out there who's watching us, you can catch us next time on the Retro Gamers Podcast.